Last Tuesday, over 1,400 coaches spent a whole day getting better at nutrition coaching and behavior change. But here's the uncomfortable truth. For most of them, nothing will change. Not because the ideas were bad, not because they're bad coaches, but because ideas don't pay. Clients do. That's what we're going to talk about today on Build with the CEO, where we turn your coaching into a real business. My name is Trevor, your resident CEO. And I spent 11 hours, well, it was probably like 10 hours and 56 minutes last Thursday interviewing some of the best, absolute best in the industry. Speakers, coaches, companies. We dug into everything nutrition and behavior change. And it was an extremely long day. We went from 9 a.m. in the morning until about 8 p.m. at night, straight through, no breaks. I did get to sneak away to grab some food as people were presenting, but it was an incredible day and the information that was shared was awesome. Now, I'm going to spend the next 11 minutes giving you the major talking points from that day. So if you did miss that day, number one, shame on you. But number two, you're going to get the synopsis here. And number three, if you want to go back and catch all of those recordings, all of the VIP, you can head to the link in the description and we will take you right through there. Yes, it will cost you a little bit more than what it did on the day. But that's just the nature of things, right? Show up when it happens. But the information, the VIP, everything is more valuable than any investment. It's just the team, the speakers, everyone over delivered on this summit. I couldn't be happier with how well it went. So we had 10 different sessions over the course of the day. We had 11 different speakers as we had 2 people in one session. And so what I want to do is I'm going to go through each of the sessions and give you the 3 to 5 bullet points, thoughts that's going to just help you become a better coach. And then at the end of this episode, right, we talked about getting paid. We're going to be launching something super cool at Coach Catalyst. It's going to help you get paid. So you'll have to stick around till then, or if you're watching the replay, you can zoom forward to then. But I guarantee the next 10 little bullet points from the speakers are going to be worth their weight. So Kane kicked off the day and he talked about AI. So Kane is my co-founder at Coach Catalyst and the person that makes the Coach Catalyst engine run. And so he has some incredible quotes. The first one was, if AI output sounds generic, that's a you problem, not an AI problem. It's missing your context, who you serve, how you sound, what your clients struggle with. Feed it those and the slop disappears. This is something we talk about with our Growth Catalyst users. We help them build their AI brain so that AI knows who they are, who they serve, what the pain points are, and then the content sounds like them. That's the magic of AI. If your AI is sloppy, it's a you problem. Let's figure that out. This was another interesting kind of picture that he painted. The 10-80-10 rule. So a human makes the decision up front. So that's the first 10. AI does the middle 80% of the repeatable work, building the thing. And then a human owns the last 10% before anything touches a client. That's how we should be using AI. And that's how we use AI as coaches. That's how we teach coaches to use it. And it's how we use it in our company. All right? You should never let AI do the actual coaching. It drafts, you coach. AI will never replace coaching. Never replace coaching, right? Because coaching is an inherently human concept. And so AI can assist the coach, make a coach more efficient, allow them to work with more people, right? But it's never going to replace coaching. And then the last one from Kane is, you don't need thousands of followers. You need 20 to 50 of the right clients found by targeting fears and desired identity, not women 40 to 60 who want to lose weight, right? So that was Kane's episode. Definitely check that out down in the description. You can grab them all. The second episode came in from Dr. Deborah Teplow, and hers was about basically a technique advance on motivational interviewing called solution focused. And I'll explain a little bit more and you'll kind of get the gist of it in her talk. So her first one was, the client's already motivated for something or they wouldn't be talking to you. So we should stop building motivation and start building the picture of the future they want. And I'll give you an example here in a little bit. Work backward from the dream, not forward from the problem. Problem first conversations trigger a threat response that shuts off the exact thinking the client needs to change. The highlighter question, this was one of my favorites from her talk. The client says, I ate half a pint of ice cream last night. Skip the autopsy and ask, what kept you from eating the whole pint? Then repeat their answers back in their own words. And then the client thinks, I'm further along than I thought I was. So that is all solution-focused coaching, where we, instead of focusing on the problem of eating the pint of ice cream or the half pint of ice cream, we focus on why they didn't eat the whole pint of ice cream. We focus on that good and move forward from that. Here's another one. Keep the client's exact words. Rephrasing swaps your worldview in for theirs. And owned solutions are the ones people follow through on. And the last one from Dr. Deborah, rehearse the setback before it happens. Suppose the craving hits Friday night. What would you have done that kept you on track? So we're going to rehearse those situations that a client may get into. So that was Dr. Deborah Teplow, and she was talking about solution-focused coaching, which is kind of like motivational interviewing. So if you're into that world, definitely do a little search on solution-focused coaching. The third one came in from my friend, Jen Broxterman. And Jen, and this is really a theme over everybody, but I think Jen in particular does an incredible job of asking great questions. And then second, she makes things fun. So Jen shared a bunch of games in her talk that you can use with clients that helps make learning nutrition, eating your vegetables more fun. And when I was listening to all these great coaches present over the course of the day, I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the best coaches ask the best questions. Right? They're not the ones that give the most advice. They're not the ones that have the best answers. They're the ones that ask the best questions. And Jen has a couple great questions that I'll share with you here that you can just implement right into your coaching today. So her intake opener, instead of having a clipboard where you take all of the notes on a client, hers is really simple. Fill me in. What's most important about your past that you think I should know more about? Then listen twice as much as you talk. You're going to get everything you need to know about that client. The next one is the magic wand. If I waved a magic wand and everything went perfectly with this, what would you be waking up to? Describe that world to me. The third question here, the permission bridge before any advice, before you want to jump in and give advice. Would it be okay with you if I shared some ideas that have helped other people in a similar situation? Kind of cool, right? Simple, basic questions that you can implement into your coaching. She had a bunch more during the talk, but those are three that definitely stood out for me that I wanted to share with you. And the last two are two games that she uses. One called the hot air balloon game, where you basically score meals by red, green, yellow. Red is an enjoy meal. We're never talking about bad. Then yellow is, okay, a lot of room for improvement. And then green is great meal, right? It gives clients a nice visual. And she kind of had the little handout and everything that she showed on the screen. And then the last one is the rainbow game. And so you're going to take rainbows, or you're going to take all the vegetables and you're going to cross out the ones that you don't like. And then you're going to work on highlighting the ones that you do try. And so the goal is to eat more vegetables, have as many highlights as possible. So it makes eating vegetables a game, finding different vegetables that you may enjoy. And so focus on the ones you do enjoy rather than the ones that you don't enjoy. It was a strategy that she used, someone that was anti-eating vegetables. They hated vegetables, to crossing out like 50 plus different vegetables. The fourth talk came in with Eve Guzman, and she talked about macro. But really about adherence to macros and how to get better adherence to clients' macros. So a few quotes from her: coach for 90% adherence, not 100. Plan with built-in treats and diet breaks beats a perfect plan they abandon in week 3. When rigid macros fail, simplify. 1 calorie number plus a protein range, and let the carbs and fats fall where they land. Clients still transform. Don't start a new client in a deficit. Track at a maintenance for 2 to 4 weeks first, because chronic eaters often need more food before they can cut. A little help, or a little language for the scale panic. So the scale panic script: you're up 0.7 pounds. That's less than a bottle of water. And then the last one, where your goal should be that your client can fire you one day, and a really good coach gets kept anyway. Right? So we want to teach a client, we want to empower a client to be successful, but likely they keep us on as our coach because we become like their advisor. Right? It's kind of cool. The other one that was from Eve that didn't really make my list right away was: everybody wants their new body, or their ideal body, their perfect body, like they want their Amazon Prime next day. I thought that was kind of a cool quote. All right, Dan Garner came up next, and he was talking about blood work. Some interesting quotes from Dan. Don't coach the marker, coach the person. Speak human, not lab. One flagged marker is noise. Patterns across many markers pointing the same direction is signal, or our signal. And they, just for some background, Dan, they have a company called Vitality Blueprint. We've used them at our facility to do blood work with our clients. but they put these blood markers into clusters. So if a bunch of markers in the cluster are kind of pointing to the same thing, then we know there's something going on. The next one was find the one root cause constraint and fix that instead of 10 fixes for 10 flags. And then the last one is a before and after lab tests is an undeniable case study. Retest and show the change. I think blood work is something that we need to be thinking about as coaches and finding ways to utilize it within our practice if that makes sense for our client base, because blood can't lie, right? And it gives us just another marker to be able to show someone their improvement. After Dan came up, Mr. Dr. Layne Norton, and he was talking all about metabolic adaptation. And so if you've listened to Layne talk, he's actually really entertaining to listen to. He has a very dry sense of humor, and he tells it like it is. And there wasn't anything different in this session. So Layne started with, if you didn't lose weight, it wasn't a deficit, period. The culprit is almost always underreporting, not a broken metabolism. Starvation mode is a myth. Your body's goal is to keep you alive, not get you shredded. Most adaptation is subconscious movement quietly dropping, which is why just move more fails as advice. This was a really interesting one for me, so I'll just read it again. Most adaptation is subconscious movement quietly dropping, which is why just move more fails as advice. Do this with your clients. 7-day rolling average weigh-ins and 1 week weighing food on a scale. One client thought she ate 1,600 calories a day. The scale said 2,700. Okay, big difference. And then he talked a lot about the danger zone after the diet, after they've gotten the result. We need to reintroduce calories slowly and keep training hard, or the regain comes back faster than it left. After Dr. Layne then came in, Erin Laverone, and she was talking all about habits. I actually wrote a book on it and they have a certification on it. So there are no bad habits, only unproductive ones. Every behavior solves an immediate problem, removes one without replacing it with something just as easy and enjoyable, and another fills the void. So I want to say that one again. There are no bad habits, only unproductive ones. Every behavior solves an immediate problem. This was like an aha moment for me. I'd heard this before and it was great to get introduced to it again with Erin, but not thinking about behaviors as good or bad, but thinking about behaviors as solving an immediate problem, right? Because if we remove one without replacing it with something just as easy and enjoyable, there's something else that's going to fill the void. And so in order to really solve behavior, right, we need to understand the problem that the behavior is trying to solve. So it's kind of an interesting way to think about it. Let the client generate 5 to 10 habit options and rate each on ease, effectiveness, and enjoyability. And this was a practice that Erin shared that she uses with her clients. She gives them some habits that they might be able to work on, or they work on a list together, and then the client ranks it. 1 to 5 on ease, 1 to 5 on effectiveness, 1 to 5 on enjoyability, right? Coaches, we tend to overpick effectiveness, and then clients quit when it isn't easy or fun. So over-indexing a little bit on ease and enjoyability, right? Because we can always get to effectiveness. One concept that Erin talked about was this domino action, which is the lead action that leads into all the other things happening, right? It might be pulling your toothbrush out of your drawer in order to brush your teeth. Do people keep toothbrushes in their drawer? I'm actually curious about this. Throw it in the comments if you keep your toothbrush in your drawer or on your sink. My wife loves to keep them in the drawer, and they all just kind of like sit together. I don't know if that's weird or disgusting. I know lots of people keep them on the counter, but that's just what we do. So I'd love to know. Drop in the comments. Unrelated to coaching, but just curious. So domino, first thing that happens, right? And so we teach clients about those dominoes and we help them execute that first thing, because then if they do the first thing, they're likely going to do more of it. And so even just doing the first thing, not fully completing it, is a win. And that becomes a rep, because 0 rep days are what kill habits. We want a little bit of momentum and keep that momentum going. Clients should feel stretched, but never strained. Doable 80% of the time, even on bad days. Yeah, that was a really interesting concept. And the comments did kind of light up when Erin did say this. A lot of people resonated with this. Clients should feel stretched. Like it's a little bit of a challenge, but never strained. I think it's an interesting way to think about this, right? Stretched, but never strained. After that came Dr. Krista Scott-Dixon, who is an informal mentor of mine through much of my learning early on. So it was kind of cool to come full circle and be able to listen to her and interview her a little bit during her session. And so a few quotes from her: nutrition coaching is 5% nutrition, 95% everything else. You're not selling a plan, you're selling the way they want to feel. And her presentation was really, really interesting. And I think I did put it in my notes here, but they had a client at Precision Nutrition when she was working there. They do kind of interviews with people after they're done with the program. And that client said they would not recommend PN to anyone, which is interesting because this client lost 50 pounds, right? And they signed up to the program to lose 50 pounds. And so the result wasn't necessarily losing the weight. It was that the client didn't feel seen, right? They didn't feel understood there because Krista kind of explained this at the time. Their follow-up and their engagement wasn't great. So the client got the result, but they still felt dissatisfied in that they would not recommend PN to anyone because of that piece. Right? They got the result, but they didn't feel like they had a relationship. So the next one was validate first, advise second. Okay, jumping straight to advice makes clients defend the behavior. Honoring it first opens them to change. So validate first, advise second. Okay. Results don't buy loyalty, relationship does. This is the PN concept, right? They got results for the client, 50 pounds, but they didn't get loyalty from them. They would not recommend their program to someone else because they didn't necessarily have the relationship. And so I think this is where coaches that are maybe mediocre coaches, incredible relationship builders, will do way better than really, really smart coaches that are terrible relationship or terrible people, right? And so those human skills, right? I talk about the triad, right? Fitness, we have nutrition, and then we have behavior change. That behavior change is really a human skill, right? Understanding and helping humans. If we're great at that, we're likely going to have a full roster, right? Even if we don't get the best results for people, because people are going to feel seen, we're going to build a relationship, and that's what creates loyalty. And much of Krista's talk was about those concepts and action items on how to do it. It was super cool. That was it was one of my favorite talks of the summit. The next one came in from Erin Power, and she talked about a thing, symptomatology. This was a word that they made up to diagnose nothing, discover everything, and stay within scope. And so when a client dumps symptoms, don't dismiss, go see your doctor, and don't diagnose. Sounds like your thyroid. Treat symptoms as data. What pattern is this, and what's the next step? And they have a really cool that helps kind of break all this down for coaches. But symptoms travel in packs. Ask what one thing underneath, sleep, blood sugar, gut, inflammation, could explain all three at once. Swap binary intake questions for story questions. This was a really powerful one from Erin that I thought was interesting and helpful for every coach. Walk me through what your body does in the 2 hours after dinner. Surfaces what? Any gut issues? Never will, right? So swap binary intake questions, any gut issues, yes or no, for story questions. Walk me through what your body does in the 2 hours after dinner. Try to gather the same information, right? Like, are they having any digestive issues? But the answers are going to be completely different. One is binary, one is story driven. Clients normalize symptoms so hard they forget to report them. Her client casually mentions months in that her acid reflux had resolved. Erin never knew she had it. Okay, clients normalize symptoms so hard they forget to report them. And then the last one was refer well, and doctors start referring back to you. Sending organized, articulate patients is a growth strategy. Empowering patients to go to their medical professionals to get the help that they need. I have docs thank us all the time when we send them a patient, and we basically help the patient articulate everything that's going on so that they can give it to the doc, and the doc has a really clear idea so that they can make the next best decision rather than having tried to figure it all out and try to map all the pieces together. We're actually helping them make the best decision. And then the last talk of the day was with Asher Health. I had the privilege of talking to Dr. Crystal Broussard and Josh Ponton, and we talked all about GLP-1s. So here's some quotes from that one. A medication can change an appetite. It cannot build identity. It cannot change habits. It cannot give confidence. That's the coach's lane. Here's some interesting facts around GLP-1s. 1 in 8 US adults has already tried a GLP-1. Ignoring this isn't a neutral position. Your clients will get the meds from a sketchy telehealth site with zero support. They actually shared a journalist test, or there was a journalist, I don't remember what publication it was from, but they shared a study that they did, and they took 40 different sites and they attempted to get a prescription as a young child, and 28 of the 40 sites prescribed to a fake application or a faked application. So they still subscribed it to a faked application because there wasn't the follow-up. Weren't these other checks in place. And so this is the Wild West, and your clients are part of the Wild West. So it's part of our job as a person in their trusted circle to help them navigate the Wild West and do our best to move them to companies or partner with companies that are doing it right so that the client can be supported. Muscle loss on these meds is preventable, and prevention is literally our job description. Protein thresholds and strength training can do wonders for people that are on GLP-1s. Add one intake question this week. Are you currently on or considering a GLP-1 or any weight loss medication? Right, as part of your intake. This is now just should be normal, right? As part of our intake. Are they taking any other medications, right? Specific to GLP-1s. It gives you an idea on where they're at because there's 1 in 8 more people than what we think are using this stuff. And we can't support them if we don't know, right? So we can't support what we don't ask about. So that's that. Like that was the summit. Maybe it took a little longer than 11 minutes. Maybe it took about 15, but you basically got 11 hours, the tidbits from 11 hours of content that we provided. If you want to go check all that stuff out, the link's in the description, and you can go grab all of the replays, but an incredible group of people. And so knowledge is great, right? Gaining knowledge is really step 0. Like it's a prerequisite. We all have to have knowledge to help people. But if you don't actually put it into action, what you're learning, it doesn't move the needle. So we need to do the thing. And this is where we need to get the clients. So coming out of this, we got together the minds at Coach Catalyst, and we wanted to figure out how do we help our community do the thing. Knowledge is great, and we all love knowledge, and we all love going to conferences and learning and doing certifications, and we feel like we're moving forward, but we're not actually helping more people. We need to build our business to help more people. And while gaining knowledge is great, building the business is what's most important next. Likely, if you're listening to this, you already have enough knowledge. Likely, right? You wouldn't be listening to this. You wouldn't be out reading. You wouldn't be engaging with our community if you weren't already a good coach or want to be a really good coach. So you having the knowledge, I'm not worried about that. But what I'm worried about is you not being able to make it as a business and then having to go sell insurance or be a real estate professional or a real estate agent. There's enough of them. Leave that for the other people. You care about people. You're a great coach, or you want to be a great coach. You're willing to be a great coach. Now let's help you build a business to support that so you don't have to go moonlight doing other things, right? Or make coaching your second job type of stuff. Okay. So we are going to be kicking off our next challenge. And this is what we call a launch challenge. We are going to kick it off at the beginning of August. Sign up if you want. If you're interested in it, just DM us. I don't have the link yet to put into the description, but when I do, it will be down in the description. So go check that. But it's a free challenge. You can sign up for free, and we're going to help you launch a program in September. Now, the program that we're going to use is called Transform in 4. It's one we've created at Coach Catalyst. The education is incredible. It's a solid program. And this isn't like a challenge that you're going to run to sell to a bunch of people in it to be your business. Okay, this is meant to be a bridge program. So it's 4 weeks that leads into more coaching with you. Now, we've done all the hard work for the program. We've built it all out. It's in Coach Catalyst. And so over the course of 6 weeks, we're going to launch this thing. And every week over the 6 weeks, I'm going to give you a very specific set of tasks to accomplish that week. And each week will build on each other. And we're going to end up launching this thing kind of the week after Labor Day. Labor Day in the United States, I believe, is like September 7th or something like that. So we're going to launch it at the end of that week. But every week, I'm going to give you a what to do that week. Okay. And then you're going to go out and do it. And then we have a community where you'll be able to engage and ask questions and support each other. The next week, I'll give you the next task. Right. And these are all going to just be stepping stones to having a successful launch in September. And then we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue supporting you through those 4 weeks. What should we be thinking about at each week during the program that we're running, right? How are we transitioning these people? How are we communicating the transition? We're going to give you all of that so that you can build your business. And it's all going to be free. Okay. I'm going to do every week a live similar to this, and it will actually replace my Build the CEO. I'm going to be teaching that piece. But those people that are signed up, this is all going to go in a special community where you have all your homework. We're actually building on a really cool page where you'll be able to go and like check everything off. We want to make this a great experience for you. And ultimately, we want you to get clients. So it means you need to do the work. So we're going to have systems in the back end, some good accountability to see if you're doing the work. And then we can help you do the work, right? So pretty simple. It's free. All you need to do is sign up. If you're interested and you're watching this live, just DM or put in the comments launch, and we'll put you on the list so that when that site is ready, I will give it directly to you. I'm hoping it'll be ready. Today is July 21st. Hopefully you'll be ready in the next couple days, and we'll get this thing going. But that's all you need to do. All you need to do is sign up, show up, watch the training, do the homework, right? And you will build a business. If you do the thing, you will build the business. And I'm going to give you lots of different strategies. So this doesn't matter if you're an online coach or a brick and mortar, like it can work for any type of coach. You could be a new coach that you have the knowledge, but you're ready to now build the business, right? Or you maybe have 10 to 25 clients and you're looking to take that next leap. This isn't for the coach that has a really well-established business, unless you kind of maybe things have stalled and you're looking for something fresh, right? This is for the brand new coach or the coach that has a little bit of a business and they're ready to grow it. Okay. So pretty cool. I'm going to follow along with you. All you need to do is DM me the word launch, right? If you're watching this wherever, DM launch, or in the comments, write launch and tag us, and then we will put you on the list or give you the link for you to be able to sign up. So that's it. It's free. It's just our little giveaway to help you build a better business, stay in this coaching world as long as you can, and change more lives at the end of the day. So thanks for hanging out for another Build with the CEO. My name is Trevor, and this is how we help coaches build real businesses. I'll see you next week.